to start off by saying this Alamosa Citizen, this is such a good website. I don't know who runs it or what they're doing or where they came from. I don't know how long they've been in business. But compared to that paywall fucking corporate owned fucking goddamn other fucking newspaper, this one's better. This one's better. This one, they care about the people. They care about what's going on. They're not just doing like hit and run pieces. Oh, guy was shot and then guy moved on. And I like Alamosa Citizen. I like Alamosa Citizen. So I got 3 stories here. Investigators seized 1,000 pieces of evidence. So they're carrying on with this thing, right, where apparently Ann Kelly got in trouble by a judge, sanctioned him for a homicide case or something with the evidence. They blamed her, and then she turned around and blamed them. So it's just a big old blame game. And then you could read, all about this, how they did a bunch of evidence, and they're going to destroy half of it or some shit. And then here's, she's going to get a bunch of money from these people, and then she's building a brand new office or some shit. So, just a quick little update there. Then you also have this crazy story where these 2 guys, they say they're hunters from out of state, and they get electrocuted. Lightning strikes. Lightning struck them. They were standing by a tree. I mean, this just sounds absolutely insane. These 2 guys, so they're just hunters, out of state hunters, right? So, fucking nuts, right? They were out there hunting, and then a storm came by, and then they're just electrocuted. Electrocuted. Is there any way that could be like fucking? I mean, you couldn't make that up. Like it couldn't be like a setup, right? Because if you're electrocuted, then you would be. How could they have done something? They couldn't. Nobody could have. Fucking nuts. That's crazy. That's got to be the craziest damn thing. It was in the Rio Grande National Forest. Andrew Porter and Ian Stesko, and so Conejos County coroner. So it happened in Conejos County. They called Costilla County authorities, which is an interesting thing. So they didn't even really know where they were located. 2 out-of-state hunters were in the South San Juan Wilderness area. I don't even know where that is. Looking for elk when a thunderstorm passed through the area and killed them instantly. It was immediate. Martin said in a telephone interview with Alamosa Citizen, he said it appeared they were standing near each other under a tree when the lightning hit, tipped them over, landed them on their backs. The bodies were found 7 days after the families were looking for them. Just what a crazy story. And then that's it. That's all she wrote. They went out there to go hunt some elk, and then they never returned. And because they got struck by lightning, what a fucking crazy fucking trip, And if they're under the tree, so they're like under the tree to get out of the storm, weird. Fucking weird. So RIP to them. And then this Barry Morphew case. This is the main thing. I wonder if it's Owen Woods. He's the one that's carrying it, or maybe he's just the lead reporter. I got a prediction on this Barry Morphew case. I think he's going to get away with it. Because in America, you only get the justice that you could pay for. You get the justice that you could afford, right? So could he just murder his wife and then pay a lawyer and then get away with it? Yeah, you can. In America, you can go ahead and murder your wife, pay a lawyer, and then get away with it. And I'll tell you several reasons why I think that he's going to get away with it. First of all, he wins this, right? So Barry Morphew makes bail. Before, he had a $3 million bail, and it was supposed to be cash only, but the judge, Amanda Hopkins, she acted like she was listening to both sides and then was, determining as she was going, which, no, I think she already predetermined all this stuff. But because Barry Morphew has a lawyer, the lawyer is part of the team, so they're going to allow him to play the game, and now Barry Morphew actually gets to posit a defense. He actually gets to have a defense. He actually gets to say why he is not guilty. So because he's got this fucking high-priced, high-dollar fucking lawyer who passed the bar, which I don't understand these motherfuckers. They're all a bunch of lawyers, so apparently lawyers trust each other. I don't even understand that. I mean, there's like ethics and violations and shit, and they could get in trouble. But lawyers lie. That's like what they fucking do. I've never had any good experience with any fucking lawyer. So Jesus didn't have any experience with good experience with lawyers as well. So it's kind of crazy how they sort of trust each other or believe each other. I don't know. I don't know. There's several reasons why I believe that Barry Morphew is going to get away with murder. And I think it's fucking horseshit. God damn, do I think it's horseshit. Forget where I was going, but I'll probably come back to it. So let's just, yeah, he's a part of the team, right? So Annie Kelly, she had mentioned something during voir dire. During voir dire, she had said, oh, he's not represented by a lawyer, you know. What a fool, right? So she kind of, you know, sort of tainted the jury pool with that. He doesn't have a lawyer. He's defending himself. That's my experiences with lawyers is they've been terrible. So I'll secure the lawyer, you know, I'll give them my little meager $1,000. But if I don't pay them, if I pay it all up front, then they don't need me later on. They take my fucking money, lose the fucking case, shrug their goddamn shoulders. And then if I stand up for myself, you know, if it was a seatbelt ticket or whatever, and I'm like, hey, you know, give me a fucking jury trial, then it seems like they listen. They listen. So there's pro se actually has more power than attorneys in some respect, but is it possible to pay a high dollar lawyer that could do his best job, but whether he loses or doesn't lose it? Yeah, I guess that's possible that he could actually go in there like he's a warrior advocate. That has not been my experience. You pay these fuckers a bunch of fucking money, they blow your fucking case, and then they say, ah, well, who gives a shit? So I got terrible lawyers, but she made that comment that made it seem like, oh, if you don't have a lawyer, then, you know, you're fucked. So if you have a lawyer, then you're a part of the goddamn team. And then the other reason, Candace Owens is a part of the reason, too. I'll get to Candace Owens at the end here. But Henry Corral. There was a guy named Henry Corral. He's 44 years old. He killed two people. He killed two people at the Sunset Inn Hotel. And this was an Ann E. Kelly case. And Ann E. Kelly, the Henry Corral is kind of crazy. It almost seemed like it was a obvious, you know, open and shut case. But apparently the public defender's office is doing a good job. And you got to let both of the lawyers play the game. You know, let both of the lawyers play the game. Get the public pretenders. You know, if you're fucking poor, then you don't really, it doesn't really matter what, you know, you disclose. Bunch of nosy ass motherfuckers. I remember this one lawyer. She says, you know, how much money do you have? And I was just answering the questions to the lady. She wrote stuff down. She goes in the back and says, well, your figures didn't add up right. I don't know what she fucking wrote down, but I guarantee I don't have the money to fucking afford my own lawyer, you piece of shit. You piece of shit. You know? So, you know, you're sitting there honest as fuck. I remember another time, I was in an RV in Somerset, and I was, had applied for food stamps. And I go to the food stamp office, and they said, how much money you have in your account? And I said something like $24. And then they interviewed me like a week later, and they asked all the same questions, and they said, well, how much money do you have in your account? And I said $20. And she goes, you said 24 last time. Okay, it's been a week. I spent $4 fucking, you fucking prick. You know, it's been a week. It was like she made it sound like because I had $4 less in my account that I was lying. That's what it made it seem like. She was, you know, she was trying to say I was lying about. No, if anything, you know, I only spent $4 fucking. You know, motherfuckers make credit card purchases every fucking day or whatever. But that's such bullshit. Bureaucrats, they'll find any fucking reason to fuck you the fuck over. Oh, you were not consistent. Before you said $24, now you're saying 20. It was a week ago. Is it not possible? Okay, I don't have any fucking money, but I spent $4 fucking. Yeah, I spent what, $1 for fucking goddamn bus fare, and then I bought a fucking taco. What the fuck is it to you, motherfucker? Like, what kind of, you're doing an inquisition on me? So I guess what I'm saying is, people could take the tiniest fucking thing and just turn it around on you and try to fuck you the fuck over. Now you're saying, before you said you had $24, now you're saying there's $20? I don't know if we can allow you to eat. I don't know if we should allow you to have food stamps anymore. Huh? Because I spent $4? Are you fucking kidding me? So, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say Henry Corral, he killed, you know, 2 people straight up. And there was 40 cops, you know, it took to find him. 2 people were killed. 1 person was injured. 1 person got injured, you know, 5 shots. And in 2004, this Henry Corral had been guilty of reckless manslaughter. So how the hell did Henry Corral get out of jail? He's got a ton of tattoos and shit, and he's got a ton of tattoos. November 3rd is the next thing for there. And so what had happened with that case is Annie Kelly had said that it took 1,000 hours or some shit. Like they did just hundreds of hours, or I don't know, dozens, something. She did a ton of work, basically. So to convict a motherfucking murderer who straight up fucking murdered, I mean, it's at the Sunset Hotel, so it's probably on video camera. So hey, there's that fucking guy. People recognize him. 40 cops chased him. They eventually catch the guy, right? He had a felony assault too, a guy who had murdered somebody previously, reckless manslaughter, whatever, the details of that case. And then I pulled up an appeal. He actually won his appeal on some other case. So that's incredible, right? So this Henry Corral, why did it take fucking hundreds of hours to convict a person who was obviously fucking guilty? The only thing that makes sense is because he had a lawyer, either the public pretender or he had his own lawyer, who knows. And because people don't discern truth, people aren't discerning what's real and what's not real, then it's like you have to say more than the other guy or some shit. Because it seems to me it's an open and shut case. It's almost like, okay, here's the guy, here's the video, he shot, he murdered him, he deserves life. What else do you need to talk about? Do you need to get all the people in the damn thing, waste these people's time as much time as possible, get them, provoke their heartstrings or whatever? Yeah, okay, it was terrible. It was terrible for the person shot. It was terrible for the person shot family. It was terrible for the fucking clerk who watched it. It's terrible for the whole community. We're all, experiencing PTSD here. It's awful, awful, awful. But ultimately, he shot him. Well, and then what was the fucking reason? The media never even told us what the reason was. This goes back to Barry Morphew, because it's like, if you can't even convict a person who just, blatantly murdered two people, smoked them, and slayed them, just goddamn genocided them right there in front on camera. Somebody who had a prior murder conviction killed two people, and just straight up, the two people that were killed, Aurelio Pena and Gabriel Pena. So, a father and a son, 61 and 37. Why did he shoot him? Why did he shoot him? We don't get the fucking story. The media doesn't tell the story. Did it not fucking come out in the goddamn court system or the court cases? Did nobody find out why the fuck goddamn Henry Corral killed him? Why did he fucking kill him? Was there a good reason? Did he have a legitimate reason? Did he feel like he was under threat? Did they try to kill him first? Why did it take hundreds of hours for Annie Kelly to fucking goddamn convict Henry Corral, who just flat out murdered these two fucking guys? Why did it take hundreds of hours? The only thing I can understand is that the other person has a lawyer, and people don't know how to discern truth very good. So the jury, they're dumb. They're dumb. If you see one person, it's one big power struggle, right? So if one person has a lawyer and the other one doesn't, that person's been kidnapped, and who gives a shit about the fucking truth of the thing? So I think that's why Barry Morphew is going to walk. Barry Morphew is going to walk because he got a lawyer, and since he's got somebody that's a part of the team, even though a lawyer's a lying piece of shit who has no ethics, no morals whatsoever, he's going to get in there to defend the case, not giving a fuck about the outcomes or justice or anything like that. He's going to get paid. So this guy paid a lawyer to fucking goddamn lie for him. He's going to go there and lie for him, and then because the system wants to pretend that lawyers were all on the same team or whatever, they're going to allow him to posit a defense. He's going to be able to, to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. He'll just, put a stink on every piece of evidence that comes through. He was trying to say BAM, this narrative that he was the only person that had the BAM dart gun. Like, the lawyer had said that he walked through the house. When the investigators checked through the house, they didn't actually find any BAM tranquilizer darts. I've heard, differently that it was, okay, maybe he didn't have it in there was a tranquilizer dart in the dryer, like in his shorts or his pants or some shit, and then there was something else too. But there was like two, pieces of evidence that he had some sort of BAM tranquilizer dart. So he could have used it and then got rid of the shit too. He had it for deer hunting. He still is a deer hunter. Amanda Hopkins, she had said something interesting too. She said that the daughter's opinions, the daughters of Barry Morphew, was very, very interesting to her. I mean, goddamn, this is DEI hiring. This is awful. I mean, why the fuck do y'all keep on goddamn justifying this motherfucking president? Amanda Hopkins is saying, you know, the two daughters that have been completely brainwashed by their daddy, I care about their perspective. Oh, because they're females? They're females, so you're a female and you care about females' perspective and you don't give a fuck about anybody else. I gotcha. But to think that the daughters look stupid as shit. When I saw, like, there's a photograph of them walking out of the goddamn courtroom. You know, they're just, like, holding his hand and smiling and having a good fucking time. They look stupid as shit. And children have unconditional love for their parents. So to think that, to listen to the daughter's perspective of the fucking thing. Didn't you hear the brother of his wife, Suzanne Morphew? I mean, is that not fucking anything? I mean, the family of Suzanne Morphew, she don't give a fuck about, but the daughters, the daughters of Barry Morphew, were they around? Did they see the thing? Like, they were gone, right, for a day or two doing some overnight shit. So they're not witnesses. They have nothing to fucking do with this thing. Yeah, maybe they'll lose their fucking father, but it looks to me like the father killed the fucking mother, so therefore the mother and the father, he's the one that got rid of, you know, he destroyed his own life when he destroyed his wife's life. So because people don't know how to discern the truth, and you're going to let the damn lawyer posit a defense because he's, you know, by the bar, he's past the fucking bar, and they've spending millions of dollars, and he looks like a kind of a gentle soul, a little effeminate. So he's going to get up there and be like, well, you got to do this, and you got to do that, and he's not going to testify, so you're not going to get Barry Morphew up on the stand that just says, I didn't do it. He's doing these interviews, which, why the fuck would you do interviews? When I watch the interviews, I see a guilty motherfucker fucking lying. It just looks clear to me, clear as fucking day, that he's lying. I can't fucking believe a word that's coming out of his fucking mouth whatsoever. He doesn't have a lawyer. Laugh, laugh, wink, wink, nod, nod. He don't have a lawyer. In a way, that tainted the jury pool, didn't it? When Annie Kelly said that he didn't have a lawyer. I mean, that's tainting voir dire. It's fascinating that Amanda Hopkins said that the daughter's opinions actually mean something. Well, I mean, their daddy brainwashed him really good, and they believe he's innocent, so, you know, I can't see he looks like a liar, but I can't. I think they're telling the truth when they repeat the lies that he told them. Stupid, man. And then ultimately, why? Who else would kill her? Who else would kill her? Have we found the real killers yet? Have we even fucking got the sense to look for the real killers? He suggested a barracuda, some killer fish or something, some kind of ostrich out of West Texas, flew in off the Spirit Airline double-decker. And then last but not least, I'll go ahead and mention the Candace Owens things because I've been thinking about Candace. I keep thinking about you, Candace. Candace Owens is going through some shit, and I feel for her because she lost her friend, so she's, you know, sad. She's grieving. She's mad at every motherfucker. So I understand that part. I could also see they had a disagreement over Israel, right? So he thought it was okay to genocide. She thought it wasn't okay to genocide, but they were still friends. But then immediately people are saying that they weren't friends because of that disagreement, right? Well, he's for genocide. I'm not for genocide. So, you're not friends. No, they were friends. So I believe that they were friends, and then she's saying that I want to get justice for him, and the story doesn't make sense. She is just asking questions. The Hysteria did a video where they were saying, I think she's smarter than Megyn Kelly, which is kind of sad. It kind of makes me sad to think about a lot of female commentators. Like, We need to start concluding. We need to start making conclusions. Candace Owens once said she doesn't believe in the cult of science. Science is a cult. She also believed the flat earth thing. Look around. It looks flat. I don't know. I'm just asking questions here, but, there's evidence. Yeah, there's evidence for a bunch of crazy shit, Both people could present there's not just two sides to every story. There's an infinite amount of sides to every story. One person could have fucking 3 stories, about the same set of events. And so, she's going through shit. Hysteria just said that she was smart, but then they also said that she was anti-Semitic. They got a lot of things wrong, which I like the Hysteria women, but they got a lot of things wrong when it came to the Candace Owens thing. And I think what Candace Owens is doing is fucking brilliant by poking holes in their story. This is how Trump got Obama to release the birth certificate. You keep on pointing something out. How do you prove your innocence? Even when he released the birth certificate, that didn't prove the innocence. But for any discernible mind, that should have put the baby to bed. That he's got, newspaper clippings. He's got a birth certificate. But people are saying it was the long form, not the short form, and all this other dumb shit. But because Donald Trump trolled him, eventually that forced Obama's hand to show something, and so the birth certificate came out. Same thing has happened with Emmanuel Macron. Now we're going to see her vagina. They're going to take a picture of her vagina, and then we're going to fucking see it. There's pictures of her pregnant or something. I don't know what the hell it is, but she's got to prove that she's a woman. So because of her trolling, the truth is coming out. Now, she thinks science is a cult, so she's not making conclusions. She's a flat earther in some respect. She's not making conclusions. And so when the person says, well, I think this person did it because of these reasons, and then that's crystal clear, here's the narrative, but what evidence do you have? Do you have the videotape of him saying that fucking thing? They release these text messages, which maybe that's the text messages, maybe they just typed the text messages into something else, because it doesn't look like a screenshot. You don't have the little bubbles, and you don't have a little timestamp and all the shit underneath of the thing. So she is just asking questions, but she's not concluding anything, and she's kind of just saying there's a bigger story here, and they're covering it up, and there's a conspiracy, and she's right that everything that Kash Patel had come out and said. So when I think about Barry Morphew and people being jurors and people are dumb, and when it comes to a balance of power, instead of the courtroom being about truth and justice, instead about peace and love and what's best for the community and making sure that justice is served, no, we're not just going to take a cop's arrest and rubber stamp it. We're going to make sure justice is actually served. Somebody punched another guy, okay, you get to punch him back. Okay, that person got raped, okay, now you get to rape him back. Justice is eye for an eye. And it's not, the accusation isn't the crime, the arrest isn't the crime. The crime is the crime. The crime is the crime. In order to get objective justice, you need objective truth. Or as close to objective truth as you possibly can get. And so how do you get to objective truth? Every piece of evidence, you need the totality of the circumstances, so every piece of evidence adds to the damn thing. But you need to be able to come up with a timeline. You need to be taking a bunch of fucking notes, listening to people, pay attention to what they're saying. Because ultimately, you got to have the truth. And so, when the defense, if people are dumb and the jurors are dumb, they're sitting in their, the dumb jury room with their dumb faces, and Barry Morphew's, lawyer is like, well, he didn't have the BAM, and he just keeps repeating the lie over and over again, this narrative that they're saying. I think that'll poke enough holes into the official story, even if they, unless you got the smoking gun, unless you had a videotape of him pointing the gun at his wife while he was saying, I'm going to, shoot you because I'm sick of your shit. You're cheating on me. How dare you cheat on me? And he flew into a violent rage and shot and killed her. Is that the only way you could prove the fucking murder happened? If you had videotape of they were in the house together by themselves, like what are you talking about? Unless they had surveillance cameras set up inside their own house. That's the only way you a skeptical, an overly skeptical jury who doesn't make any conclusions about life. That's the only way you could be convinced, and even then, you could poke holes in that too. When was this taken? Who was it taken by? You got to lay a foundation, right? Well, where's the person? And then you got to have, you were the one that videotaped this? Yes, yes. You took this picture? You wrote this article? Mm-hmm. Yes, 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 yes. So you could poke enough fucking holes in the damn thing. You could poke enough holes in the damn thing where if people aren't trying to fucking discern the goddamn truth, it shouldn't have took hundreds of hours for Henry Corral to convict him. It shouldn't have took hundreds of hours. And then that might be something about Annie Kelly. Maybe they feel like they have to have a mountain of evidence in order to convict somebody. And you don't need a mountain of evidence. Really, you need some evidence, but you don't need a mountain of evidence. I would think that the hotel video camera would have caught that fucking shooting. Where did he get shot at? Why were they shooting? I mean, and then we never got the fucking story. We the people never got the story. So that sucks. Barry Morphew's going to get away with murder, and that's, our system fucking is crap. Our system is crap. A bunch of poor people have to fucking goddamn, let the judge treat them like shit because either A, they don't know better, or B, they don't have the money to afford a lawyer. So because they're uneducated and poor, they get fucked the fuck over, and yet if you're wealthy enough, you could commit the crime and then pay a lawyer and get away with it. It's not really scot-free. I mean, this has to suck, having to go through all this shit. But Barry Morphew got bonded out. He put $300,000 up. Somebody paid the $3 million bond. So he put $300,000 up. Somebody gets paid $30,000, that's a nice payday for the bail bondsman. They get $30,000. He's got to wear an ankle monitor, right? And he's not going to be in the county. They're going to move the damn thing to Saguache County, which is where they should do it anyways, because that's where the body was found. So they're going to take it out of Alamosa. So they're going to take it out of the main courtrooms that they're all fucking comfortable using, and they're going to put it into the Saguache County courthouse. This fucking lawyer's going to throw a bunch of shit at him, and they're going to, I think ultimately, Barry Morphew's going to walk. Barry Morphew's going to walk free. Even though he killed his wife. It looks to me, all the evidence points to me that he killed his wife. Who else would have done it? What other person would have a motive? There was she had a boyfriend, so he'll have to come back into the picture, and there will be a trial by next summer. It's just bullshit. If you are wealthy and you can afford a good lawyer, then you can commit the crime. Alec Baldwin killed that woman, shot her right in the fucking face, killed her, and then said, well, I didn't do it. And that was it. He got some lawyers, and then he got to walk. I'm just tired of rich motherfuckers. Trump had 4 indictments, right? He got indicted 4 times by a grand jury. He walks. So many rich people commit the crime. They pay for the lawyer, and then that's justice? That's not justice. And then there's criminals out there getting away with, people are getting shot all the fucking time. And I don't know anybody who goes to the courtroom to resolve their disputes. Unless it's a major fucking thing, right? It's usually cops are fucking with people, and now you gotta fucking deal with the bullshit. If you're having a dispute, I just, it'd be nice for people to try to get people to get along, to arbitrate, to mediate. People are fucking hard-headed, people are mean, people are criminal, people are terrible. I mean, why else would this country be doing a genocide if there wasn't a lot of evil in this country? So that's my prediction. Barry Morphew's he's gonna get away scot-free. He'll get through the fucking trial, and they'll say not guilty, or it'll be a hung jury or some shit. And then they won't bring the charges up again. And I don't even know if they'll try to appeal the damn thing, right? I mean, he's got this, how much money is he... He was able to put $300,000 he was able to put up with either through property or a bail bondsman. So he didn't have the same money that he had before, but motherfucker, for landscaping, $300,000 for land, and he's got property in Arizona and Indiana, and are you fucking kidding me?